Okay, here we are, and I have Lover Boy here, and we're gonna be doing our very first session on the leash, okay? Very first time having him on the leash here. And he doesn't know how to be on a leash yet, okay? So he was on a harness, right? So just because you maybe put a harness on and then essentially just tether your dog to you, that's essentially what that is. Doesn't mean they know how to be on a leash, right? So first off, I just have him on a rope lead here, and I'm just gonna get him used to having it on, being with me. I'm really just evaluating right now whether or not he's taking these treats. He's interested in them, but he's spitting them out, okay? So there we go, he finally ate one, good boy. So we're just gonna have him here with me. I'm gonna be just giving him treats. He's still sort of getting used to things, getting comfortable, but at least he's willing to take these treats here. Good boy, good boy. So I'm not gonna do any luring just yet. Good boy, good boy. Just give him a few more treats for free. Good boy, just kind of keep this sort of positive mindset that he's in right now, okay? Good boy. And just really reward, I guess, I'm looking at maybe rewarding him for being with me, okay? It's not really rewarding though, but so you can see, like, look, as soon as there's any tension, he's kind of pulling away a little bit more once he feels that. So this is where I want to use my food, use your treats to get him to come forward. And what we want to start to teach him is that, hey, look, that pressure that is happening because you're resisting and pulling away, well, that goes away whenever you come forward, right? So really, teaching your dog how to be on a leash is actually teaching them how to relieve pressure, right? So good boy, good boy, good boy. So that was a good example there, that he was receiving pressure because he was pulling away and fighting the leash, but as soon as he came forward to get the food, hey, the pressure went away. And that was on his own, right? The pressure went away on his own. So, he isn't gonna pick that up right away, but after doing this a few times, he'll sort of figure out, oh, okay, so if I'm fighting and resisting, it doesn't go away, but if I go forward, it does, and I get the treat, okay? Good boy, good boy, hey, good boy, good boy. So let me see if I can, see if we can lure him a little bit. Good boy, so something is even just as small as that, okay? So, he's gotta build a little bit of confidence to sort of move around here. Again, he's on a leash. He's already sort of figured out that he can't necessarily get away. So, like, sometimes they have this little mental block here that they don't even want to move this couple of inches here. Look, right? It's like an interesting thing. So this is where we and again, I just switched up on him from sort of giving him the treats to now saying, well, you're gonna have to move for them. You're gonna have to move for them, right? It's so interesting how, look, well, he'd rather move that way, but he doesn't want to move towards the food, okay? So pretty interesting, right? How sometimes this works here in the beginning with a dog who doesn't understand yet. Good boy, good boy. So as you see, I'm totally okay with like picking him up and moving him back over here, right? Because I guess the alternative was I'd have to pull him on the leash, and I don't want to build really any negative association yet to that leash, right? That's why I'm not trying to engage it at all, because he's not ready for that type of pressure yet. Okay, some dogs, they're totally fine with it. Okay, they're okay with that pressure. They're okay with being kind of guided around on it. They don't resist, they don't shut down. So from what I'm seeing right now, like, this is going to be the session. The session is going to be having the lead on him and just feeding him here. Good boy. Again, as he's still getting used to the environment, his surroundings, this is still this is still going to be a session that we progress in. Good boy. Good boy. This is part of relationship building. Okay. Good boy. Good boy. So you're gonna wanna do this on the leash, okay? So we could have came out with no leash and did the same thing, but you know, I wanna prevent this right here from happening, okay? Where he might just take off and then he's not interested in me or the food. And so at least the leash will allow me to eliminate him leaving. So unfortunately, yes, as that just happened, the leash does get tight. So I did say I'm not trying to really engage the leash and create any pressure here so that he doesn't have any negative association with it. But at the same time, he did that on his own, right? He moved away. So there's a difference and that's really what we're trying to teach overall with pressure, is that the dog is actually causing the pressure, and so therefore he can cause the pressure to go away, right? That's ultimately what we're trying to teach, because if I'm making a conscious effort not to create any pressure and have the leash become tight, then anytime it is tight, it's because of the dog, right? And so that's the understanding that we teach overall with pressure. Okay, good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. So here, see, as soon as he maybe tries to go away, I'm gonna just kind of hold the leash, okay? So a little sit lure here. You know, he backed up instead. So I'm just gonna test to see if he's willing to sit. He's not, he gets disengaged here, all right? So no problem. No problem, still very, 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 very early with him. I like the fact that he's at least willing to, again, stay engaged with me for the most part and take the treats. And just like any other dog that we're working with, if we're not using their kibble, we're only using freeze-dried beef liver that we cut up, okay? Good boy, so high value. Good boy. Come on. So you can see this, you know, just this whole doesn't really get the following just yet, okay? Well, there we go, good, good boy. Good boy. I spoke a little too soon there, okay? Good boy, good boy. So notice I'm not saying anything, okay? I'm not saying his name yet. That'll be another session that we do where we start to work on his response, I guess, you know, his engagement, his focus. Right now, I'm just rewarding him for basically just being here. Good boy. Good boy. And not leaving, okay? So I guess that's what we can look at here. When he's staying with me, he's getting rewarded. When he moves away, there's no reward, right? So he's kind of figuring out, oh, okay, if I hang around, it's a good thing. Good boy, good boy, good boy. Yeah, you don't handsome man. Good boy. Yes. Good. Okay, so that's gonna be our first session for right now. We're gonna build on this later and maybe see what happens as we start to increase a little bit of pressure on the leash and try to work on some directional pressure with the luring. Good boy, good boy. Now that I've seen that when the leash has become tight and there is pressure, he's not freaking out, okay? So maybe like Lucy, the little Chihuahua, she was freaking out at the beginning with the leash on, right? So he's not doing that at all. He's not nearly as insecure as her. He's actually, I feel like, a lot more confident. Good boy, good boy, Okay, so that was pretty good. We'll end there. Again, doesn't look like it's a ton of progress, but it is in terms of me evaluating sort of his mindset and where he is. Again, in terms of like he's willing to take the treats, he's not freaking out on the leash, he's willing to give me some focus and continue to look at me, engage with me. Good boy, good boy. Okay, good boy.